Hello and welcome to the 18th iOS tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll talk about two important subjects in Objective-C. The first one is an important method which is called prepareForSegue. And the second one, we'll talk about protocols and how we can create our custom protocols and delegates. So let's move on. As you remember from previous tutorial, when we connect these two controllers with this button, this arrow takes into place. And if we click on it and go into the attribute inspector, you'll see the identifier. What is this identifier? Let's see what it will do. It is really important to know that when we connect, when this view wants to transmit to this view, an important method is called. What is this method? This is called prepareForSegue. So the thing that we created here is called segue. I know it has a weird name, but this is segue. And this segue, when it's called, when it wants to go to another view, this method automatically will be called. As soon as I start tabbing the name, the compiler will help me to finish it. It's called prepareForSegue. Tab. It will show me this. So what is it good for? When we want to set up something inside of the other controller, for example, if we have a label here and we want to update it, we can do it inside of this method, inside of prepareForSegue. We can create an instance for it, instance of the new view, instance of this view, and change this label. So this is the good place for preparing this view. That's why it's called prepareForSegue. And what we need for here is putting some if statement that we're sure that we are opening this view. Because, for example, we may have other segue, other links to other controllers, and we want to make sure that this is the one that we want. So how do we know it? It's by the identifier. So if I add the identifier called here add contact here, and then when I click here again, it'll show me add contact as the identifier, and then come back to the prepareForSegue method and say if this segue dot, it has a property called identifier. This is the identifier that we just added, is equal to string. This is how we compare a string in Objective-C. There is a method called is equal to string, and we can compare two strings together. So we want to see if this identifier is equal to the one that we just added, add contact. Then we need to do something here. Do something. Initialize or anything else. Do something. So now inside of this if statement, we are sure that we are going to this view by this identifier. So let's review it again. This is a prepareForSegue. It is called once the view wants to transit to another view. And we check to see if this identifier, the identifier of the next view, is the one that we want. And then we start initializing, adding, or updating whatever we want. That's for prepareForSegue method. This is an important method. Okay, in previous tutorial I showed you how to add this button and also make it working by modal view and put in some UI elements. But in this tutorial I'll show you how to make this view working right now. If I say, for example, hooks tag, this is the name, this is the number, for example, 555, and press add. Should add this at the end, and also this done button should work to be doing nothing. So let's do it. Okay, in previous tutorial we add these just elements. Now we need a class behind this. We have a class for this table view, which is contact tvc. We need a controller file for this view as well, as you may know. So we go to the file, new. This is the place that we always create a new file, and create Objective-C class, and we call it add contact vc. View controller. VC stands for view controller, and it should be subclass of UI view controller, because we have a view controller here. If you look at this, let me just create it. When we drag and drop this view controller, we drag the view controller. So we need a subclass of UI view controller. And now it created us, what a weird name. Let's delete. We can rename it here. Let me show you how to rename. If you click here and right click on it, it will show you refactor, and you go to the rename and change the name. As simple as it is. Add contact, that we know we need just this part. So it will show you what area will change, and you can save it. Now we have the new name, and it will smartly change the name, so you don't go and rename it by yourself, just refactor. Again, if you double click and then right click on it and refactor, rename. So this is how you rename the file. Okay, let's see what we have here. We need to connect these view elements to its class. So first of all, we have to assign this controller to this class. So the way that we do it is just right click and just click on it. Just click, not right click. When you see the blue border, and you go to this tab, which is Identity Inspector, and then select the class that you just created. Right now we have add contact VC. You add it, and now it's assigned to it. So, and the way that you know that this is assigned, if you go to this tuxedo button, it will show you these two view at two editor at the same time. And if I just move this, and if it's an automatic, it should show the right file. If I go to this, it will go to contact tvc. If I will go back to this, it will go to add contact vc. So this is how you know, okay, this is connected. Okay, let's first of all get rid of these unnecessary. These are just commented out. We don't need it. We need view did load, so I'll just put it back, put it here. We drag and drop the name field here because we need to know the name, and we call it name file, and also number file, number field. And we need to communicate with these two buttons. So I will drag and drop from done button first here, the implementation file. So it's not working, see? It's not doing anything. You would know that we are not actually dragging from the done button. And the way that we do it is from the scene. If you click here and open the toolbar and see where is the done button, and this is the done button. So you drag, control drag to here. Now it shows a line. So I would call it, it's the type of UI bar button item, but we don't need it. We just call it dismiss add contact VC. We just want to dismiss this view when they press it. So let's say, and also we need to drag and drop from this add button. Let's add it, and we call it add contact press. Okay, our view is right now hooked up. We can now write a code. Okay, let's think here and see what exactly we expect from this class. We want this class add this name and number inside of this table. So somehow this class should talk to this class. And it means the add contact VC talk to contact TVC. That when they press add button, it adds the stuff inside of this table view controller. So this is the place that we need protocol. When this class needs something and it wants to be notified when something is added, divided, or whatever, any kind of change. So we want this is the delegate, and this is the delegator. This delegator notifies this class something has changed. So this class will update itself. So let's do it. Let's create a protocol. There are some steps to create a protocol, and I show you these steps. Here is the steps for delegators class. What is the delegators class? Again, this is the class. For here, it's the add contact VC. So let's see what we need to do. At first, inside of the .h file, header file, we have to say @class and the current class name, which here is add contact VC, and then the @protocol and the delegate name, whatever name we want to add, and some methods that relates to this protocol that we want to do, and then @end. So let's do this step and then come back. We go to the contact TVC, right now, and add contact, because this is the delegator. This is for delegators method. So we go to the delegators and .h file, and above this class, sorry, we say @class and add I'm sorry, contact VC, and then @protocol. The protocol name here, we call it add contact VC delegates, and just remove this. This is a subclass of an object. If you don't add it, it would be okay. And we will add some methods here. For right now, I just put some comments, methods. Oh, if I can type methods here. And also it gave us hint that we have to add a method. So, and the end, and don't forget to put semicolon here. And this is the first step. Let's go to the next step, which is we have to define a delegate property. And let's just drag, copy paste this. I'll just make it full screen and go to this screen and paste it here. We need to, instead of this delegate name, need to add our delegate name. Our delegate name is here, add contact VC delegate. And this is all about the second step. Remember that this property should be always weak. Delegates, the property should be always weak. Now let's go to the next step, which is use above delegate property inside of delegator's implementation file. So this is important. Now we need to use this delegate, but how do we use it? First of all, we have to define the methods that we want to use. What method we need? We need two methods here actually. First of all, we need to notify that this is added and pass these two variables. And also we need to notify that this button is pressed. So we need two methods. So I can define two methods here. First of all is it is returning nothing, so it's void. And then we say dismiss add contact PC. So I put semicolon. This is one of our methods. The other one is this is actually again returning nothing, void, and we want to pass these two variables, the name and the number. So we'd say add contact name semicolon, it should be NS string and name, and the other field is phone, so we'll call it phone semicolon. It's again NS string. The type of phone is NS string. For this tutorial we just say NS string, but we could put it number, NS number. So this delegate method should implement these two methods, and if these two methods are required, we put nothing here, but if it's optional, we put just @ optional, and we put some methods that we want to be optional here. But for now we just don't have any optional method here. So let's set the delegate. See, use above delegate property, the third step, and let's use it in .m file. Let me just get rid of this view and go in. This is a .h file that we just created. Let's go to the .m file, and in .m file we have to use these delegates. Where is the best place to use them? In dismiss add contact VC, which is the done button, we should say self.delegate, delegate, now space, and now we should call these methods that we just create. Dismiss add contact VC. Say dismiss add contact VC. So this is how we use this delegate property. Same thing for this add contact. This is the add button. This is the IB action for add button. So what we want to do, we want to pass these two variables. So I'll call it self.delegate and then say add contact name. So what is the contact name? This is the name field content. So we say self.name field dot text. We know that this text returns the value of the text field of this name. So when they press add, it gets the value out of this name field. And same thing for phone, self.phone field number field dot text, and then that's it. That's all we want to do. So let's go to the next step. This is inside of the delegates class. What is the delegate class for us? It's contact TVC. The best place for setting the delegate is when we create an instance of the class. For example, here we want to set the delegate. So we need to create an instance of delegator class. So once we create an instance of this class, then we can add and put the self delegate to self. So where should we add the instance? So as you know by now, prepareForSegue, when we check if it's our segue or not, we can create a instance of add contact VC. So first of all, we have to import. Let's import, say add contact vc.h, and then we can come down here. Instead of do something, we actually have to do something, and we say segue dot destination. See, destination, it has a property called destination view controller, and set delegate equals to self. Okay, so this is how we're gonna do this. We set the delegate by this property. What does it mean? Segue the destination view controller means this view. So it's actually instance of this view. In order to make sure that this is the instance of this view, we cast it. What is casting? For example, this is the type of segue destination, and we change the type by putting the new type inside of the parentheses. We want it to be add contact VC type. So we just cast it. Cast this property to add contact VC. And now you see it gives us a warning. And why is it that? Because we have to add the delegate name. Before doing the delegate name, it just gives us the warning that what delegate you want. You have not implemented the add contact VC delegate. So it means that we have to go to the next step. What is the next step? Add delegate name in front of interface. So let's do this. This is the interface. So we have to add the delegate name. This is add contact VC delegate. And now this warning should go away, and it's gone. What is the next step? Implement the delegate methods. If you go back to this view and look at the implementation, you will see this triangle here. And why is it that? It would say there are some methods that you have not implemented. And it says method distance view controller. If I expand it, let me go back to the if I expand this warning, it has two warnings. It says these two methods are not implemented, and these are our delegate methods. If you see, these are the two delegate methods that we have to implement. I'll just copy them and I will paste them. And if you remember, I said optional. If I put add optional here and then come back here, this triangle, this warning will go away, because these are optional method and I don't have to implement it. But since they are required, I'll change the optional and come back here and I'll actually implement them. I'll add these methods at the very bottom. Say, because they're implementation, I'll just add the parentheses and make this and a little bit space and come here again. So this is the actual implementation of these files. What do we want to do for dismissing? When the users press the done button, how do we want to dismiss? There's a method called self. This is our self. We want to dismiss. It says dismiss view controller animated. It's a boolean. We say yes. And yeah, the completion is nil. We don't want to do something for the completion. So when they press done button, this view will be dismissed by this line of code. This is the property of the view. What do we want to do for adding contact? We want to actually add the name, which is here, and also phone inside of the array. If you remember, we had the array for names and an array for phones. So we want to add these items inside of this array, and it's so simple. I would say names. What was the name of the it would self.names. Yeah, self.names. I would say self.names, and we want to add object. Oh, it doesn't have an add object property method because the names is not NS mutable array, it is NS array. So we need to change this quickly, NS mutable array, because mutable version we can modify it. So let's change these, and NS mutable array, that's fine. And now we can say add object and name, and also for phones as well, self that it's phones, add object phone. And now we have to reload the table. So we have a method for reloading the table view. It's called self.tableView. First of all, we call the table view, and we send the message to table view to reload itself. It's called reload data. Now we're good to go. One quick thing that we need to change is I forgot, and these are the setters and getters. We need to, it was NS array, it was before NS array, we have to put it for NS mutable array. So let's run the program and see if it's working. So this is our list. Let's add a contact. I'll call stack and 555 555 5555 and add a contact. It's not working, but done button working, and it adds 3 times. Why it's not working? Because when we add the contact, we did not dismiss it. How we can do this? We can just easily add a dismiss button here. You can say dismiss the view once the user pressed the add. So if we run it again, say add this hook stack and number whatever, add. Now it dismissed the view and it added at the end. So previous time it added, but it didn't dismiss the view. But by just one line of code here, or we can even call this method instead of just writing this. We can call this method. It says self and dismiss view instead of void, without void. We'll do the same thing. That'll be all. We are now created the contact list, very simple contact list, and you can see here it adds stuff. The next time.